Hello, Ragu. We got day 6 here, First Corinthians 15. And before we dive into this, first I want to take a broad overview about what Paul is saying in this chapter. So the first part of the chapter, 1 through 11, Paul is giving evidence for the resurrection of Jesus. In the second section that takes you up to verse 34, he is arguing for the afterlife for everybody. There is some kind of afterlife. And then in the remainder of the chapter, he is talking about what the resurrection will look like for Christians. He is addressing this because in Corinth, or the place that the place where the Corinthians were at, they were arguing that there was no resurrection of the dead. You just died, and then that was it. And so Paul is refuting that here. I picked out some commands in this chapter. I got verse 34, where it says, "Wake up from your drunken stupor as is right, and do not go on sinning, for some have no knowledge of God. I say this to your shame." And then I also got verse 58, where it says, "Therefore, my beloved brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain." And I just think that is such an awesome verse to know and to hold on to, knowing that everything we do for God, it always has a point. It always has a purpose, and God will use that. But then also in this chapter, the comparison between Adam and Jesus are referred to as the last Adam in this. Because if you remember Adam, he was the first man created all the way back in Genesis, where God took the dust of the earth and he formed him. But then Adam and his wife Eve sinned. And because of that, the human race, all of us, now are sinful creatures. And I just love the comparison, because Adam was a living being and Christ was a life-giving spirit. One was from the dust, the other was from heaven. And this is, basically, we are represented by these two. Adam representing our humanity, right? Our fallen nature. And Christ representing our new life that we have in God. And so, let's see, verse 49, just as we have borne the image of man of the dust, we shall also bear the image of man in heaven. And so once we were sinful creatures, but now we are God's. And when we go to heaven, just as we resemble Adam in our form now, we will resemble Jesus in his resurrected body in heaven. I think that's awesome. I'm totally looking forward to that. But let me know what you think. If you have any questions about this, I know this was kind of a more difficult passage. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to walk through anything with you, or go into more depth or details about anything.